Welcome back to the Early Nerds podcast. Today is going to be a short episode about us giving our final review on Jedi Survivor. I just also want to take a moment today and talk about our brand new sponsor, Dubby. Dubby is an emerging brand of energy drinks created to help focus, concentration, reaction time with no jitters or crash. Dubby contains no maltodextrin, that's how it's pronounced, sorry, sugars,
Oh, good.
fillers, artificial colors, or dyes. So, if you guys get the chance to, look down in the description, click on that code, and actually put our coupon code in, which is Early Nerds, all caps with a Z. And as always, thank you all for tuning in to our podcast.
Right on.
That wasn't too bad.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
Good, good, good.
So we are going to start this one off by picking up kind of I guess where I left off in Jedi Survivor last time was I was actually at the array. I figured out what it was called. My final review on this game is that it is an amazing game and it is definitely a must buy. I encourage
Mm-hmm.
everyone, if especially if you're a Star Wars fan, go out and get this game when you can because you are going to enjoy every last minute of it. It is everything and more that I wanted from a video game, especially with all of the games that have been coming out recently and them kind of being somewhat of a letdown. This one was kind of a fresh breath of air. It just gave me everything that I was asking for, even that Sith fight that I was talking about in the last episode because I definitely got that. um,
Good Lord.
Shouts out to Bode for smacking the shit out of BD for me though.
Why is that?
I told you, man, he didn't give me my stems.
Gotta give him a second.
Oh no, fuck that dude. I got killed by Bode so many goddamn times. It was ridiculous.
Really?
Yes, I had the most trouble with that guy. I actually defeated Darth Vader with ease, but Bode was a challenge. I was like, this guy is like a nobody. I didn't, and it was a surprise that he was a Jedi too. Of course, for people
Oh yeah.
who haven't played the game, but Bode is, well, I wouldn't say a Jedi because his lightsaber is red, so he's technically a Sith. Um,
So, from what I understand, that is actually, oh goodness, Dagon's lightsaber. Basically, Bode, after you set the lightsaber down and you walk out of the room, he snatches it real fast and he takes it with him.
no way.
Yeah, it's something that's really easily missed, but if you go back to the array after you complete the campaign,
Hmm.
there is a force echo right in that battle arena where he kind of talks about how, oh yeah, this lightsaber is actually really comfortable, really ergonomic, and it's like I haven't put one down in decades at this point.
See, I kind of thought it was, but I didn't have
Hmm.
like it wasn't confirmed because remember when you defeat Bode and he places the
Yeah.
lightsaber on his chest, I was like, that kind of looks like Dagon's lightsaber, but I was like, he
Hmm.
probably just had his own.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you don't unlock Dagon's lightsaber once you beat Bode, because one of the weird things was Hal leaves the lightsaber on Bode's body, like it was his lightsaber, which was kind of one of the reasons why I was really confused about it until I went back to that spot and found that out.
It would have been nice if they would have kind of like every person that, well, not every person that you beat with a Jedi with a lightsaber,
Hmm.
that you got like their customizations.
Oh yeah.
That would have been really cool, but we didn't get that.
Well, I know you can at least unlock Seer and Eno Cordova's lightsabers, um, just through traversing the world, but I don't know about the other two.
I do like how in New Game Plus you do get a red lightsaber or the party lightsaber.
Party lightsaber. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, it's like the boogie bomb in Fortnite.
I was just gonna say like a regular RGB computer nowadays.
Oh, yep. I'm looking at my setup right now, and I'm like, yep, that's the party lightsaber. It is definitely a very fun lightsaber to use. I am definitely going to be playing on New Game Plus just to be going around looking like a strobe light to these stormtroopers.
Oh yeah, I am definitely looking forward to playing New Game Plus. I will say, however, picking back up from where we left off last time, in regards to systems that we've played on. I would definitely recommend eventually picking up the game for most people who play on PC. However, I might recommend holding off for a little while.
What's that?
Basic Basically just because I didn't have any problems with the game at first. However, EA has been slowly pushing out updates for the game, which, granted the game's only been out for about a week and a half at this point, so but the main problem is a lot of people are experiencing graphical bugs or complete outright they're unable to play the game right now. Um, there are multiple people who have had issues with hitching or just the game outright crashing on them after they get to a certain point. Um,
That's no good.
no, not at all. A lot of people are upset, and I can definitely understand that. Um, I didn't necessarily have any problems myself up until they actually released the patch. And then after I got the patch, that was when I started experiencing bugs and problems on my end.
Man,
I mean, it's not game breaking, but I will say it's a little weird going from a game that works completely fine to a game that honestly feels like you're playing on half the frame rate you have it set at. And, a definite drop in just graphics quality, surprisingly. I played the first half on ultra graphics quality and had no problems until the new patch came out, and then I had to drop it down a spec.
if you don't mind me
And
asking, how many updates have you had for PC?
ooh, I want to say they just had. Let me double check. So this is the second patch. They actually just released one earlier today, and I will say things for the most part are better. Basically a lot of the load times for the games were what was killing a lot of PCs apparently. But it's still not fully polished, which, to some people after waiting months if not years for this game to come out, only to have a game that's not really fully polished tends to be a little problematic, but
You definitely understand that.
oh yeah. In terms of story though, it's a gem.
I will say on Xbox, I think I've only had one update. And once again, I
Hmm.
am playing on the Xbox X series. So I don't know if anyone else out there is playing on a different one, but if you do, just leave us a comment, let us know how it's running for you on that. But on Xbox X series, honestly, the only issue that I've had is the same issue that I said in the last one. When I was fighting Bode, I actually lost sound. Like it was just completely silent. And it was
Really?
because I had paused the game for just a brief second, and then when I went back into it, everything was just silent, and I'm like, oh, what's going on here? And I just was like, okay, I'm gonna let Bode kill me, so I don't count that one as a kill. This game, like Mr. Wumbo has said, is a gem. The story is beautiful. It just keeps getting better as you go through the story. My personal favorite part is when Cal got knocked out by Bode and you actually got to play a seer. That
That
was
was definitely unexpected.
I know, right? That was so cool. I actually, as soon as I got into playing as her, I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. It kind of reminded me of when you played Battlefront.
Mm.
Like I'm
Playing as
talking
a hero?
yeah, as the hero. Like kind of I'm not talking about like the newer ones. I'm talking about like the old one that was like on PlayStation 2, like the good one. That's what it reminded me of. I don't know what anyone else out there has to say, but PlayStation 2 Battlefront is the best one. These new ones, kind of remind me of Battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, they are both made by EA, so I can definitely understand that comparison. But no, definitely playing as Seer was unexpected. It definitely felt like I don't know if they actually went in and tweaked her system and tweaked her numbers, but it felt like she was actually doing more damage and she was just a little more in tune with the Force, if that makes sense.
It definitely felt like that.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like getting a power boost for a little bit.
It kind of felt like, when Cal is embracing the dark side.
Hmm.
I think that what they're trying to touch on in this subject, I might be wrong, is that you remember how when Seer said every Jedi has to face the dark side and Seer beat hers?
Oh yeah.
So I feel like after they go through that trial, they kind of do that Revan thing where they embrace both sides, but kind
Mm,
of actually pick a side.
that makes sense.
So I think that's why she actually is a little bit more stronger than Cal, but I could be wrong.
That's a fair assumption. Definitely, after being a legitimate Jedi and not just a Padawan, I mean, her skills would still be superior to Cal's.
Definitely. How was Darth Vader for you? How did you fare against him?
Um, so I actually had a decent amount of trouble with Vader. I completely forgot that Seer had her like block ability, which apparently is really, really helpful. And so I just kind of brute forced my way through it after about 5 retries, I want to say.
Say you did better than me.
Oh no, I was able to go through Bode once and not have to respawn, but I felt like I was doing it over and over again with Seer and Vader. I just couldn't get past it. There was actually one point where I respawned and Vader just didn't show up, so I couldn't progress any further.
What? He was just not
Yeah, it
there.
was. Yeah, I was just running around in the library, just wondering if I needed to trigger a cutscene or something, and sure enough, it just didn't spawn him in.
Oh man, can we talk about how Darth Vader is such a dick, man?
What for?
So I got through, like, you know how when you're fighting Darth Vader, you go through about, I want to say, maybe two or three cutscenes before you get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get touched by this guy until like the last bit of it when you're about to actually defeat him, and I'm kicking this man's ass, and all he just goes is most impressive, and I'm just like, you fucking asshole. Like, I'm kicking your ass. Don't you fucking compliment me.
Oh, so that's the reason why he's a horrible human being, not because of the whole, younglings thing. I see.
Oh my god. Um I don't know how to respond to that one.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was definitely a really imposing figure to go up against. And I'm kind of surprised that they actually had him as a boss fight.
I I kind of got the feeling that he was going to be a boss fight as soon as you're talking with Bode and he's like, you can sense it, you know what's coming there, and I'm like, oh shit, man. Could you imagine if Anakin just walked in with all those Padawans and he was like, most impressive, and he starts speaking on
Yeah, just being super demeaning while cutting him down.
him, like that one kid that they showed that looked almost like Anakin when he was a kid.
There's too many of them. What are we going to do?
Most impressive.
Oh goodness.
Darth Vader is a terrible human being, though, everyone. He redeemed himself, but
I think one of the things that I liked about the Vader fight was just he's massive. That's
yes,
something that they touch on in the movies and everything, but you don't see the scale. But you're in the boss fight and he just towers over you.
yes, 100%. I noticed that too, and especially like when you were like trying to strike him, and this
Hmm.
man would literally just deflect everything. And when it felt like when I was getting like blocking hits from him, I was like, if I get hit by this, I'm dead. Like I'm at
Oh
full
yeah.
health.
Yeah, I was playing on not the most difficult setting, but the second most difficult setting. If you got struck by him twice, you were just gone.
Jesus.
And most of his attacks were, one after the other too. So chances are if you get hit once, you're gonna get hit a second time too.
What is that move that he does where he like completely comes over and like just straight up, like he doesn't even force choke you, he straight up chokes you.
Yeah, he grabs you with one hand and lifts you up in the air.
Yep. Then just tosses your ass like a rag doll. Man, I can't tell you how many times I got snatched up by his ass. Like I would try to like get the timing down correctly to where I had to just side dodge or anything just to get out of the way of that. And then by the time I did it, it was too late and he was already on my ass. Like he jumped from across the other side of the battle arena or the library
Mm.
and just snatched my ass up. And I was like, God damn, I don't understand how Obi-Wan fought that.
Hell yeah. I mean, I guess that just goes to show how powerful of an individual Obi-Wan is if we're struggling with Vader, which, you know, Obi-Wan took out like a chump.
He definitely had that man on the ground yelling, I hate you.
Hell yeah.
My favorite meme ever.
So what did you think of the twist?
Oh, are you talking about Boat betraying you or the
The
daughter?
Bode twist.
Oh man. See, I had already been onto the knowledge that Bode was going to betray you because like I said in the previous episode, I was scrolling on TikTok and some asshole decided to post Bode, kind of fist fighting Cal. So I was like,
Mm,
"Oh, no way." But
just fist fighting though?
yeah, just fist fighting. But when
Okay.
he pulled out that lightsaber when you were chasing him on the speeder bike chase was amazing, by the way. I was
Mm,
so excited to be on the speeder.
I love speeder bikes.
Yeah, I wish we could make those real. But like right when you guys were like flying in midair and then you landed on that little pad that they started fighting on and
Hmm.
he just force grabs you or whatever and I'm just like, what the hell? I'm like, no way, this
Yeah.
guy's a Jedi. And then they're like, he's like, how did you survive the Order 66? And I'm like, oh shit, man. I wonder if he would like have something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I had also heard a little bit about how Bode's not necessarily the most trustworthy guy, but like you, I wasn't privy to the knowledge of how untrustworthy, and I'm glad that I went into this game completely unaware to everything else because when we got to the scene where Bode betrayed us and we kind of knew that it was coming and then he went for that force push, my jaw hit the floor. It was like that meme of Chris Pratt with his mouth open.
I love that meme. That's a good one. I'm
Oh
putting
yeah.
that in there.
Well, and I liked it too because up until that point, everyone was kind of complaining that the story was fairly straightforward. The bad guys are bad just because, they didn't have any legitimate reasons and they were kind of one note. And so that was kind of something that I was really worried about. And then once I took out Dagon, I was like, okay, we're just going to do a little prologue, a little something's going to happen, but we're all going to, get together and fix the problem. And then you get to Jeddah and that stuff happens. I didn't realize that there was still a third of the game left, and so that was a
Mhm.
really pleasant surprise.
One thing that I do like, I like how every character that Cal faced actually kind of shaped him a little bit or changed him a little bit in the game.
Hmm.
Like Dagon, he was obsessed with Tanalore, and Cal started to think like, hey, maybe me being obsessed with wanting to take down the Empire is going to force me to turn to the dark side.
Hmm.
And that kind of was like a teeter-tottering point for him. And when Bode actually betrayed him, it kind of like full-fledged almost threw that man into the dark side.
Oh yeah.
Because that part when you're in the base that Bode is on and you
Hmm.
are just completely ripping and tearing through everything, the chase scene was amazing. Like embracing the dark side, I was like, man, if this is what the dark side feels like, I want some of that. That was pretty awesome. And even though Bode is a piece of shit, I do understand his reasons of why he actually did what he did.
Oh yeah.
It's not like it's just someone who was power hungry or just wanted to, self gain for themselves. He had a daughter that he wanted to protect, and he feared that if they made that a safe haven for everyone that wanted to escape from the Empire, they would kind of catch wind.
Oh yeah. Well, and I will say, to piggyback off of what you were just saying, when you are in the ISB base, they actually mentioned that they knew about Jeddah and that they were eventually planning on getting around to, just squashing it, but that was something that wasn't super important at the time, and so they kind of just let it be for a little bit. But the fact that they knew about the base on Jeddah, which was supposed to be like the best kept secret, and these people were going to go to Tanalore to be safe. Bode already knew that if the hidden path came with them, that they weren't going to be safe for long.
Yep. I actually did not know that they knew about the hidden path.
Yeah, it's a blink and you miss it type thing.
Man, now I gotta go. I'm definitely playing on New Game Plus now. I missed that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's given new meaning once you know the entire story, which I always like.
I was gonna ask, did the commander, like you remember when Cal went into that guy's chambers, did
Hmm.
that guy say that they already knew about sorry, not Tanalore, but
Jeddah.
Jeddah?
Yeah, it's during the conversation you have with him.
Ah, gotcha. See, the main thing that I got from that conversation is that Vader attacked and he was like, oh no, Vader wasn't supposed to do that.
Right. So basically, if I'm not mistaken, there are two separate factions inside the Empire. So one is the ISB, which is the base that you infiltrate, and then the other one is basically the Inquisitors. The ISB is a lot more information gathering and like subterfuge and sabotage and stuff like that, whereas the Inquisition is more so basically like the Inquisition from Warhammer. But basically, they just go around and what they say is law. They are judge, jury, and executioner, and so they kind of they work together, but separately, if that makes sense.
So one's the nail and one's the hammer, pretty much.
To an extent.
Okay. So if the ISB is mainly focused on getting information,
Mhm.
does that mean that do they know that Eno Cordova and Sear were there?
I believe they did. But yeah, basically, like I was saying, a lot of the ISB is more so like just monitoring and gaining the intel, and then kind of sending out troops to deal with it. Whereas the Inquisition is like boots on the ground, getting their hands dirty. So,
Yeah, I was just wondering that because I'm like, if they knew that Jedi's were there, like, why the hell weren't they like, oh, let's share this information with everyone else because we got some Jedi's there? Because I feel like that would be their main objective. But I guess they're just kind of like, yeah, let's just get this information and keep it to ourselves for now.
right. Well, I mean, and also the ISB is mainly consists of just regular human beings that are trying to kind of gain favor with Palpatine. And they're just regular guys, whereas the people that are in the Inquisition are, they have the Force for most part, or are at least specially trained to handle situations like that. So it's a little understandable that ISB doesn't necessarily want to take a Jedi on and have someone else take him on for them.
That makes sense because if they had someone else go and take them on for them, that person would get all the credit instead of the ISB.
Right.
Yep, because they're trying to. Yep, that makes sense. I understand now.
Yeah, it's a little confusing sometimes, but yeah, they're a pretty interesting side plot that I was thoroughly surprised they actually brought into the game. A lot of the stuff that you read about them are from books or some of the TV shows, but it's nice that they're rolling everything into all types of media.
They did, like I said in the last episode, a phenomenal job with this game. Everyone, the whole design team, all the voice actors, everyone, man, bravo to you. You made me very happy playing this game.
Oh yeah, I just finished playing it, and yet I am definitely looking forward to the next one.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. How'd you feel about the end?
I felt like they definitely left it really open. I don't mind the fact that Cal and Marin are essentially the adoptive parents of Kata, and I like the fact that she's actually a decent human being because most kids in the Star Wars universe take after their parents.
Yep.
And Jango was a jerk, so Boba became a jerk, and all that sort of stuff. So having someone that's actively knows that what their parent is doing is wrong and kind of goes out of their way to be a better individual is nice.
Dude, when she put Mookie on his body when he was getting burned, I
Mm,
almost teared up a little bit.
mm.
Because even though she knew her dad was a humongous butthole, she still loved him.
Oh yeah.
Like she's like, that's my dad, but I understand like he did wrong, and even in the cutscene, she's just like, Dad, listen, like, come on, like I'm already lonely here. I could use a couple friends here.
Oh yeah.
Like she was kind of miserable there.
I mean, she was just sitting around, just doing nothing.
Man, her singing was beautiful. Whoever voice acted her, man, you got some pipes. Like I sat there for a minute just listening to her sing.
Yeah, the voice acting in this game is absolutely phenomenal. And it definitely makes sense once you go through the IMDb list and see the people that are in this game.
Hmm. Who voice acted Darth Vader?
Ooh, I know it's not James Earl Jones, but if I'm not mistaken, it is a gentleman that I want to say he started off by doing a comedy sketch on like Comedy Central or something about Darth Vader years and years ago, and Lucasfilm was so impressed with their interpretation of Darth Vader that they asked him, they're like, "Hey, can you just be the official voice of Darth Vader for our projects going forward?" And he's like, "Yeah, definitely."
Man, that guy's
So
lucky.
Oh yeah. So I mean, basically, anytime James Earl Jones isn't playing Darth Vader, most likely this guy is.
I believe it says that his name is Scott Lawrence.
I believe that's right. Yeah.
Scott Lawrence, man, your Darth Vader is amazing.
Oh yeah.
So, man, my final thoughts on this is once again, go buy this game, everyone. You will enjoy every second of it. As Mr. Wumpo has already said, he does caution you with buying it on PC just because it's got a little bit of technical issues going on with it. But hopefully, soon enough, they'll get that taken care of on Xbox or hopefully any other consoles that you're going to be gaming on. Go ahead and pick it up, okay? Make sure you guys tune in next week for episode 3. We're going to be covering Warhammer, and I am very excited. Other than that, see you.
See ya.